Managing Director of Paragon Trust Company and tax and private client practitioner, joins us to bring a common sense approach to money in a world of total insanity. Let's welcome Tony D'Angelo.
All right, so every Tuesday morning, we bring on the one and only Tony D'Angelo. It's a must follow on Twitter, Tony D'Angelo 7 on Twitter, every Tuesday at 7:05. And so, Tony, I wanted to play this for you because I know you've got a certain theme to begin today's show.
You can't handle the truth.
Can you handle the truth, Tony? Can you handle the truth?
I try every day, and and the truth hurts, and because we all, I think, get into illusions as to what we think the truth is, or we have like these little fixed beliefs, and we find out they're not right, and we have to go back and rethink our assumptions if we're honest, and it's. Many times you got to swallow the bitter pill. But good morning, Lee Elci. Good morning, everyone. Proud to be among you, and I'm just very, very tired of being lied to, and we're going to go a number of different directions. So let's start with our pal Ned. When we're observing Ned these days, he's going around in public, and to me, he looks absolutely giddy. I mean, he's talking a mile a minute. You can have your theory about that. I have my own. He seems that he doesn't have a care in the world. Maybe he doesn't, or he's beyond the point because he's not really getting any really other than like what happens on like what we do here or what George Colley may do or several precious others. He's really getting no pushback on his serial corruption. So he's just rolling. But it's really my belief, Lee Elci, that after we go through today, there'll be a number of people questioning, this guy, what he's about, and also probably the political scene in general. Like you're talking earlier about, can a person really change? I say, well, yeah, I've got my theories on that, which I will share if somebody asks me, but sometimes I don't think these political animals can change at all. But let's get to business. I'm going to start with a tweet on July 19th from Ned to the public, and he's talking about $119 million given to ARPA, and reading his words, not mine, to help companies grow and expand and small and minority-owned businesses. And I am wonderful for doing this, aren't I great, love me and all this other kind of stuff. Now, this is ARPA freebie money. Your only requirement for getting this money is a pulse or maybe a partly working pulse. So we have this amount of money. Do you think, Lee Elci, Ned is going to play by the ARPA rules? Don't answer that.
All right.
This is Ned, right? This is a man with a perfect record for saying one thing and doing another. He never does anything squarely and honest. And the fact that no one calls him on this, again, but a precious few, is entirely mind-boggling to me. So let's examine this a little bit further. What happens to the $119 million? Just some Cracker Jack money or Cracker Jill, if you want to be politically correct. Ned takes the $119 million, and he states his intention in one of his, I like to call these things, these are the bulletins he puts on his site. I like to call them papal bulls. The papal bull of July 18th, he goes through, whoever writes this stuff for him does a very good job in word salad, and you go through all the wonderful stuff about how I'm this wonderful person, I'm going to help all these poor people, and then he tells you, this is where the money's going. These funds, which is under to be technically correct, the State Small Business Credit Initiative under ARPA. It's going to Connecticut Innovations. Remember them. They are the gestational birthing parent of Semaphore. And with this capitalization, Connecticut Innovations is going to launch 2 new funds, not one, kids, but 2. The Connecticut Future Fund, supporting entrepreneurs from underdeserved and diverse backgrounds and small businesses in a variety of sectors, and the Climate Tech Fund. And then you read a little further. Again, this is right in the bulletin. Both of these new funds will be supplemented with existing Connecticut Innovations funds, and other SSBCI funds will support existing Connecticut Innovations programs and initiatives. And then he goes on to say that Connecticut Innovations investment will include early-stage venture debt and equity investments. So this is the first, the first pitch. It's $119 million instead of going to help the poor and distressed small businesses. We're going to talk about, the intention of that in a little bit. It's going into a great state hedge fund. I mean, welcome to Connecticut. This is just the way it is. And nobody says a word. You're ball, my friend.
So, and who decides, who made that decision? Like, how did that decision get made?
Ned and his cronies made that decision.
But there's no mechanism in place that exists to sort of safeguard against this, Tony?
No, there isn't, and I'm glad you bring that up. We hear a lot about, the ethics plan, which is a total and complete joke. I would love to find one person out there who thinks this is a good ethics plan. I will debate them in your studio, and I will give, I said $1,000, $2,500 to their favorite charity if they can defend this mess. It is so full of Swiss cheese. My point being, there's nothing in that plan that stops something like this. And the other thing, the back nine of this, these are all very, shall we say, Ned family-friendly industries. Right. What stops this, whatever you want to call it, a capital flow from an OHCFT investment to one of these things? Absolutely, positively nothing. And no one asks these questions. I mean, this is the first thing that goes off in my head.
Even if the money,
but anyway,
let's get a
little bit more technical.
Okay,
which is great for 7:10 in the morning. Don't believe, and I say this to everybody: don't believe everything you read. Don't believe everything you see in a newspaper. Do your own research, and it's a pain in the neck, but you really have to do it. My first thing is, and this is my little practitioner brain, what does the law say? What does the legislation say? Well, I dug it up, Section 3301 of the State Small Business Credit Initiative, and they talk about what this is supposed to be. It is supposed to be supporting small businesses responding to and recovering from the economic effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and ensure business enterprises owned and controlled, and this is a key word, or what they call in the law a term of art, socially and economically disadvantaged individuals have access to credit and investments. Now, the definition of a socially and economically disadvantaged individual is an SBA definition, and it's under Section 8 of the Small Business Act, and I dug that out too. And there's a very good congressional research bulletin about that was issued in March of this year. And they talk about what is a socially and economically disadvantaged individual. People like disabled vets, tribal government, poor rural Caucasians. We'll get to them in a moment. It's not intended for venture capital. So money that's intended for these folks, the tribal government, the urban and rural poor, is deflected into a conduit of elite industries where there's no accountability and a great potential for Ned deals. Again, we have no firewalls. We have no ethics. Hey, this and no one says a word. And these are all very simpatico, Ned type businesses or Ned family type businesses. And where you look at this, I say to myself, you're a legislator, and your job as my representative, you're supposed to be reading these papal bulls. You're supposed to be paying attention to what's happening. I mean, it's like money is available here for people in your district. So like Robin Porter, Tony Walker, Gary Winfield, Kathy Ostin, where are you? It's like nobody's saying a word about this stuff. And the other thing is, and this is one that hits me personally, and I've said this for years and years and years, the most disadvantaged person in the state, if not on the planet, is the poor, rural white person, like, where I happen to live. You have like, Pomfret or Woodstock or East Killingly or people like this. Like, that's where the wealthy people live. But it's surrounded largely by people who, sadly are the, like one of my old-time neighbors used to say, the wreckage of the Industrial Revolution. They never caught on to anything after the mills closed. And so I don't like to talk about myself, but over 20 years, I've helped a number of these people and gotten them out of major messes. They can't pay me. They don't have the money. I'm not expecting the money. How do they pay me?
Right.
I have a guy coming today. He's going to come with a plow and he's going to do my back. He pays me in eggs.
Right.
Or he pays me in wood.
Right.
He pays me with his heart. And I say to myself, if we had representation, I thought about all the representatives and all the Congress people we've had, but for Colonel Simmons, who is the only one who really pushed for, small business and pushed. You don't see these people. You don't know where they are. If I call up my representative and I say, do you know about this stuff? The guy probably wouldn't even answer me. So it just gets me so angry. And the fact of the matter is, we have people running against Ned Lamont. We have people with paid operatives running against Ned Lamont. Are they calling this mess for what it is? No, I am just entirely disgusted because we are supposed to have a representative government, and what we've got is $119 million going into a hedge fund. Hey, wow, this is why Ned is in his party mood, I guess. I don't get it. I just really don't get it.
So let me just back up for a second. So this money that ends up getting filtered through and then ends up in some hedge funders' pockets is supposed to go to help folks in need, right? So that's
well, socially and economically small business disadvantaged individuals who are of these classes.
Yeah.
It is not a racial class, and I'm glad you brought that up because there was a case in Wisconsin very recently where the judge in Wisconsin, because all the loans were going to minority, he says, no, you can't do that. This is money that's supposed to be for everybody.
Right. But
to assist them, because of the hit they took during COVID.
All right, so it's COVID money. This was not around before this.
No, this is you got a pulse show up, ARPA money, $119 million on your doorstep.
So I'm just curious, like, in what way do they disseminate? Is that the right word? What way do they give this money out to people? Even if in the best world, like how would it work, Tony? Would I go down there and show them my bank account is empty, and they would hand me a check for what, $500, $200?
The intention of the law, as it is written, socially and economically disadvantaged individuals. If you had a strong small business administration within a state, we have this money. We have it here. Come here, show your potential, show your need, and show that you are. And one of the whatever you want to call, one of the requirements for this is you're supposed to show potential for the fact that you're not just going to throw money at me and keep me around for another few months, and I'm going to ask you for some more. You have to show some, whatever you want to call it, gray matter, insight, intention.
Who makes that determination?
You bid for the money competitively with others. That's what's supposed to.
Oh, you do? Okay. So you have to. So I'm a T-shirt salesman at not Misquamicut, but let's say Ocean Beach in New London. And I go and I bid for $1,000 because I'm not making any money. And and then there's a panel, there's a person, there's a group, there's a class filled with folks who determine whether or not I get that money.
Well, it should be an application process, and it should be a statement of intention. It should be something that shows that you are worthy of receiving literally what is a gift from God.
Yeah. I'm just curious.
But here in Connecticut, it goes to a hedge fund. And this is all great, and we're going to be a leader in climate change and all that other kind of stuff. I just think it's a terrible insult to all the people and all the districts who really aren't getting what these chances that they are. Like my guy who's coming today, if he were to get like maybe 2 trucks or something like that, he doesn't ask for any kind of welfare or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, he could have himself an army. He has that kind of a work ethic. But, you think the political system's going to help him? Please. I mean, this is why I get very angry at the political system.
All right.
The waste makes me cringe.
I know that's story one. I know you wanted to talk a little bit before we run out of time about election year tax plans.
Yeah, and actually what I think I'm going to do, the very nice gentleman whom you were speaking to over the week about the MyCTSavings. We're going to lead off with that next week because there's a lot in that. One thing I will say about that, if you're being hit with that, you don't have to sign up for it. There is an opt-out. I will tell you why you should opt out of this thing at 100 miles an hour. But that's kind of too good to rush. But that's the first thing. There is an opt-out.
Well, I just want to so folks know what we're talking about. One of our good friends of the show, Jimmy, sent me some info about them reaching into your bank account yet again, or reaching into your paycheck yet again to create a savings account. And Tony will hit that next week for you. So
yeah, I'm here from the Connecticut government. I'm here to help you. But I've been studying this Republican tax plan, and I was reading it last night, and I was going over the things, and I'll tell you something. I mean, maybe I'm not really bright, but I do this stuff for a living. I got so terribly confused. You could look at it. There are 5 points. There are 3 suspensions. Suspensions are trouble. Whenever you suspend something in taxes, because you'll think, oh, great, I don't have to do that, or the rate is, then you go ahead and you proceed on the suspension, not remembering, because you got 50 other things to remember, that the suspension is no longer in place, and you get a 10% penalty letter with interest and all kinds of stuff like that. And I'm saying to myself, this is not good planning. This is not anything that's sensible. Then the other thing that dawned on me, Lee Elci, is, we're in the economic gutter. We're just, if I could invoke proudly Colonel Simmons twice in a phone call, the demo commies in Hartford aren't going to be changing anything. Let us not kid ourselves. So this is the time to do something bold, to do something new. And as I started to read, I became very fascinated with when Herman Cain, God bless him, was running for president. He had a very simple 999 tax plan, and I mean it was conceptual. It never got off the ground. I think because they assailed the poor guy due to some things he had done. But 9% income, 9% sales, 9% corporate. Simple, easy to understand. If you don't like the rate, you could pitch it up, you could pitch it down. But just really simple beans where somebody in a business could understand, oh, my rate is this, and this is all I have to do. So like in a little state like ours, you could do a 5-5-5. A 5% income, just a gross tax, 5% sales, 5% corporate. No compliance, no changing the systems for suspensions. I mean, the people that write this stuff have never worked in it. That's basically what it is. And this is really just do something bold because we need something bold. And if you think this is just me going off at the mouth, read an editorial by Art Laffer, the Art Laffer in 2011 talking about this. And this is his words, not mine. Art Laffer is probably one of the most noted and senior supply-side economists. By making the tax codes a lot simpler, this is in the Wall Street Journal, we allow individuals and businesses to spend a lot less on maintaining tax records, filing taxes, hiring lawyers, accountants, and tax deferral experts, and lobbying Congress. I mean, it's like some days it's like it's simple as that and just as difficult, but you got to make things complicated, and, we all have to live with the result. And I guess I'm out of time. All
right, well, Tony, listen, before you go, we have had, I don't know if Walter wants to talk to you, but we do have Walter on hold. So let me give Walter a chance to maybe ask you a question. Walter, are you holding on for Tony? Do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I'm holding on for Tony.
All right, so go ahead. I'm going to bring you two legends together. Go ahead.
Tony, God bless you. Honest to God, you make my day. For years I've always had a problem, with this giveaway and everything, and nobody really knowing what they're doing, having a handle on it, and all that type of stuff, and this and that. And of course I'm going to vote for Bob. This coming up, if I'm here.
Where are you going?
Somebody doesn't vote for you if you're not, Walter. It's my concern.
Yeah, you better be here because then it's going to be a net vote somehow.
God, Tony,
and you switch parties.
You make my day and everything else, and you're right on. And I can't understand why other people don't see it. Especially those that say they care about the people and everything else. Where are they, and why aren't they doing something about it? Yeah,
I've been asking myself that question a lot lately, Walter.
Yeah,
and listen, my honor to have blessed you, my friend.
Yeah, you have a great day.
All right,
yeah.
Walt. Thanks,
you
buddy.
Too, Lee.
Okay,
yeah.
kid. Have a good day.